welcome to our Easter feasting class this evening. My name's Laura Jacobson. I'm a team leader with Thermomix in the Hills area of Sydney. We've got two consultants joining us tonight from the same team. We've got Sarah and Nat who are going to help show us some cool Easter tips and recipes. This meeting is being recorded so that those who can't be on live can catch up with us. And that's a really great thing for technology to be able to do that for us. If you have any questions throughout the evening, please feel free to put them in the chat box. We will endeavour to answer any questions you have. Also at the very end, once we finished our presentation, we can open it up for any of you to come off mute and have a chat and ask other questions that you wanted to ask as well once I stop recording, if you'd rather. Sorry about that. We will just get into it. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Tomorrow I'll be sending out an email with the recording link, but also the links to the recipes we're using tonight, just so you can catch up on all that info as well. So to begin with, we're actually going to hand over to Natalie, who is going to make something for us. She's going to be cooking a main dish for us using fish. We've noticed, or we realized, that a lot of people like to cook fish on Good Friday, being one of those Easter traditions. So Nat's going to show us an awesome recipe.
Hi, thanks for joining tonight. So tonight I'm going to cook sweet tamarind fish with mixed vegetables. I've cooked this a couple of Easters in a row, especially when my parents are down and insist on having fish for Good Friday. And they enjoyed it. So I'll just show you how quick and easy it is. And also this recipe incorporates our layered cooking, so you'll get to see the aroma in use and how you can use your Thermomix to the full potential. So I'll get started. I've got the recipe saved in my cooking do. And so the first thing we're going to be doing is cooking the rice. So I've already pre-weighed the rice and I've already rinsed it out, so you didn't have to watch those boring bits. So I'll just add in the water. My children took my jug, so this is my makeshift jug today. And you don't want to know where they put that jug. There's no saving that one. Okay. All right, a bit of salt. You don't like salt, you don't really have to put it in the water, but Michael doesn't like salt, so I put it in. And I've got my rinsed out rice. I'll just pop that in. And then we'll pop the lid on. And we'll get our aroma dish. Place that on. And we're going to put our carrots, our capsicum, and our broccoli, which I've already pre-cut into thin strips. That's my best I could do for thin strips. So we'll just pour that in. And the broccoli. It's all in there. Nice healthy dinner. And then we're going to place the tray. Now, I'm lucky enough I have one of my special silver trays that fits in my varoma, but if you don't have a silver tray, you don't need to. Just get some baking paper, wet it out, ring it, and then just place it on top like that. And then tonight we're having snapper. I'm just going to place the fish on. These are quite big pieces, so I might just only do 2 pieces of fish tonight, I think, instead of 4, because they're quite big, bigger than I thought. Okay, next, and we're just going to pop the lid on. Next, and that's going to cook for 12 minutes. So the rice is going to cook in here, veggies and our fish all at the same time. Speed 4. And now while that's steaming away, I'll hand you back to Laura. So you don't want to watch this for 12 minutes.
Thank you so much. So while that's steaming away, I wanted to show you a recipe. It's one I've done earlier because it needed setting time. So it's a pre-record video, but I wanted to show you something that's a great Easter dessert to serve. And I think it would look cute with little Easter eggs served on top of them. It's chocolate mousse. But the other reason I wanted to present this in the class is because a lot of people don't know how to whip egg whites in their Thermomix. And also, it's a really great recipe to use up leftover Easter eggs after Easter. Or if you end up with too many Easter eggs, this is something you can do with the chocolate. So I am going to share the screen with you and hope that this works well. If it's not working, someone shout out to me. So today I wanted to show you how to make chocolate mousse, which is another great thing to show how I wanted to show how you can whip egg whites in the Thermomix because there's a few hints and tips, but this is a great recipe to try as well. So I'm just going to press start cooking. We're following the recipe on Cookie Do, but it's also in your basic cookbook. So the first thing it asks me for is some sugar, and I am using raw sugar. It's asking me to put in 50 grams. So anytime you are milling a dry ingredient, you do need to make sure your bowl is very dry. If it has a little bit of moisture in there, it's not going to mill very well. So that's one tip about milling. So I've put in the sugar, it's telling me to put the lid on, done. And then we go up to speed 10 for 10 seconds. So that's 10 seconds for this recipe, and that's how much you mill sugar for sorbet and certain things. But if you wanted like super fine icing sugar for making icing, like buttercream icing, you do need to mill it for about a minute. But you can see there we've got nicely milled icing sugar there, and that's perfect for this recipe. So now we're adding some dark chocolate, 200 grams, and that just goes in. And I'm just going to make sure that sugar is down. It's looking good. And it's asking us, if you wanted to speed up the process of melting the chocolate, you could put the lid on now and grate that chocolate. But I'm just going to follow the recipe for today. I'm not in a hurry, so that's fine. I'm adding in 100 grams of whipping cream. Looking good. And I went a little bit over, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. And this time we are melting that for 4 minutes on 50 degrees, speed 2. And I'll pause the recording. So that is done. The next step, and just check, always check that it is melted. It's looking very nice. I can tell that it's all melted in there. So the next step is to add the egg yolks. So that's 4 egg yolks going in. We're going to mix that together just for 15 seconds on speed 4. I don't say much where that's going. I don't know if you can hear me. So now it is telling me to transfer the mixture into a bowl and set aside. If you have 2 Thermomix bowls, you don't need to worry about doing that. I'll just show you. The mixture is looking great. If you have 2 bowls, you can just set this bowl aside. We'll use that later. But if you don't have 2 Thermomix bowls, set that aside, like scrape it all out, and then you need to really clean and dry your bowl for whipping the egg whites. So whenever you're doing egg whites, you need a very clean, dry, sparkling bowl. Let me get this on and I'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, it says thoroughly clean and dry the mixing bowl, because egg whites is just one of those things where you really have to make sure it's super clean and dry. Same as your butterfly whisk, make sure that's very clean and dry. Pop that on. For those who don't know, the butterfly whisk just sits on top of the blades, and if you give it a little twist, it stays in place. And so now we're getting in our egg whites. I have had these at room temp probably only for about an hour. If I was organized, I would have done it earlier in the day. One of the tips around whipping egg whites successfully is to have them at room temp. It's fine if you haven't done that, that's okay. I'll need a pinch of salt. didn't have that out. So pop that in. I just use Himalayan salt that I actually mill up in the Thermomix for 10 seconds to make it really fine because I buy the rocks. So you can mill lots of things in your Thermomix, spices and sugar and salt and all those things. So I'm putting the lid on and we're going to whip these egg whites for 3 minutes. So just about egg whites, you really do need to make sure your bowl is very clean and dry. If you're worried about it, you can do what we call a vinegar wash. And that's by putting in water enough to cover the blades and a really good splash of white vinegar. I don't know the grams, but like, you'll know, maybe a quarter cup or however much. And cook that. So you could set the kettle mode or just turn it up maybe 5 minutes, 100 degrees on whatever speed, just speed 1 is fine. And then at the end, once it is very hot, once it reaches 100 degrees, turn up the dial so that that hot water is then going to be whooshing around the whole bowl, so on speed 10. Another option could be to use the pre-clean mode on your Thermomix. So if you come here, you can find that here. But you can't do it while it's going, obviously, but the pre-clean mode is right there. And you would just set it to universal. And so you've got your water and your vinegar in, and then the machine does a wash cycle where it starts at a low speed and then builds up as the temperature gets where it needs to be. So that's another good option. Yeah, and just making sure there are no egg yolks or shells or anything in the whites. It just needs to be purely the whites. Yeah, so room temp if possible, super clean and dry bowl, and your egg whites should whip up beautifully. There's a really great recipe, or there's actually a lot, really great recipes for pavlova and meringues that are in Cookie Dough that always work beautifully, and we'll see how the chocolate mousse goes today. I'll just pause while this is still whipping. Just got 1 more minute. Just show you what's happening in here, because for this recipe, the egg whites is all we need to do, but it's cooking really great. We can see that. For the pavlova and meringue recipes, the next step would be to add sugar gradually in so that it can beat. So to do that, you've got your measure cup up here. Just take that off and be putting in the sugar in the hole at the top. Just spoonful, break, spoonful, break. That's how slow you need to do the adding of the sugar if it's for a pavlova or a meringue. And I've never had a fail. It always works brilliantly. And this was only 4 egg whites, but you can see what we've got here is really great. So you can imagine if you're doing an 8 egg white pavlova, this whole bowl is full, and it's awesome. So the next step it's asking us to do is to remove the butterfly whisk. So to remove that, you kind of just jiggle it around. Don't want to waste any of that white. Very firm, it doesn't want to come off. Okay. And then we are going to add the egg whites to our reserved chocolate mixture and then carefully fold in using the spatula. It's so chocolatey. This looks really good. So I am just going to add in those egg whites. Very handy that I had 2 bowls. Every now and then there are different promotions that come up to be able to get a second bowl for hosting a cooking experience. So definitely keep in touch with your consultant so you can learn when those promotions are happening. But yeah, obviously if you don't have a second bowl, that's okay. Everything will work. You'll be able to do everything. But it's just really handy for those times where you need to stop in the middle of a recipe, set something aside and get another bowl. Another one, we did sticky date pudding yesterday, and it was, pour the date mixture into another bowl, clean and dry the bowl so you can do the cake mixture. And it was like Oh, it's okay. I've got another Thermomix bowl, really easy. So to fold it, just really gently with your spatula. We're not going to turn it back on the Thermomix to do this part because it does need to be folded very gently. Even though you probably could have the butterfly in place and do it on a really low speed, but I think, you know, sometimes some things do need to be done by hand, and folding egg whites into this chocolate mixture is just one of those things. So there we go. That looks good. And then I believe that's the last step aside from setting it in the fridge. And it says to pour into serving bowls and set for 3 hours prior to serving. So I've got these cute little dessert bowls that I'm going to use. And I will just, I'll come back at the end of the 3 hours and show you the end result. But so far, that's what we have. There's a few little whites still there. No, that looks pretty good. So I'll be putting those in the fridge and I'll come back and show you the end. Here is the end result of the chocolate mousse. Looks good. It's perfect. Okay, so that was the chocolate mousse. If anyone has any questions about that recipe or about whipping egg whites or anything, please feel free to put them in the chat or ask us at the end. Yeah, great way to use up leftover Easter eggs. And let me just say, the taste was very good. It was very rich. So, you know, we needed to have it with whipped cream and 6 servings. Like, it was too much to have one of those 6 servings in one sitting, but that maybe just us, I don't know. It was a very rich chocolate mousse. So by now, I'm hoping Nat's ready to show us the next step. She's giving me the thumbs up. So I'll go back to the fish dish.
Thanks. That was really good timing. It just went off. So we're going to take the aroma off. So if you don't know this little trick about your lid, always open it up away from you. Pop it down on the bench and it acts like a drip tray where it'll catch everything. Just got to pop that aside. And then we're going to take the rice out. Now, another thing that I did, I preheated my thermo server. So to do that, you just put boiling water in and just sit the water in there for about 10 minutes and then tip the water out and it preheats the thermo server. So now I'm going to put hot rice into a hot bowl. And you've got your little hook on your spatula. I'm sure most of you know that, but there's a hole in the simmering basket, so it makes it easy to get your simmering basket out so you don't burn your fingers. And then I'm just going to pour my rice into the thermo server. That will keep it nice and hot, and it is very hot. I don't know if you can see the steam, but yes, my rice is cooked. I'm just going to pop the lid on now, keep that hot. And then we're going to place the aroma back with the fish and the vegetables. And it's going to cook for another 4 minutes, but it may need a little bit longer. We'll just see. It depends on the kind of fish that you get and how thick they are as to how long it takes to cook. So if you want to talk about anything else, Laura?
Yep, absolutely, I do. Sorry, how many minutes did you say I have?
It says 4, but looking at the fish, I think
great.
I might need a bit longer.
Yeah, depending on the fish. Yeah, great. Okay, so that's great because I wanted to show you all. We're only showing you a few recipes tonight. Obviously, we don't have too much time to show you everything you can do, but I wanted to show you how you can find more Easter recipes with your Thermomix with cookie dough. So I do want to just share the screen for a second. I'm going to show you how to find recipes in cookie dough. Give me 2 seconds to actually pull it up. There it is. Okay, so this is your cookie dough homepage. For those who aren't aware, the main thing here is the search bar. There are a few things. If you scroll down, we've got some trending recipes, most cooked. We've got our recently added collections here. So we've got a new hot cross bun collection. So that's a good place to start. But what you can do in cookie dough, a lot of people don't realize that you can, obviously, you know, you can type in the name of what you're wanting to make. So, you know, if you want to make hot cross buns, you can just type in the name of that. Look how many options come up. But if you don't know what you want to cook, but you just want it to be, oh, lost a chickie, Easter themed, you can just type in the word Easter and see what comes up. So we have 1,300 recipes that have come up. In the beginning, it will be very relevant. And as we get down, it might start being less relevant, but it starts to give you recipes that are similar to the Easter themed recipes, you know, sort of Middle Eastern and salmon dishes, lots of chocolatey things, lots of treats. Another thing you can do if you're entertaining is just type in the word entertaining, see what comes up. You know, there's always, oh, that is so yummy. Yeah, I forgot about that recipe. Yeah, great things come up if you use tags. And I'll show you where those tags come from. When you're in a recipe, if you scroll down to the very bottom, each recipe has tags. So these are the types of keywords you can type into that search bar. So yeah, so that's why this recipe came up. Party's a good one. Yeah, Mother's Day is coming up. That's a good thing to enter in as well. Afternoon tea is always good. Brunch is another good one, probably for Easter. So yeah, you can do that. The other thing with your search is that you can type in an ingredient. So if you buy, I'm trying to think, cinnamon, I don't know, that's so random. You bought a heap of cinnamon to go in your hot cross buns, and now you want to know what to do with it. Even though it keeps forever, you know, you can just type in any ingredient name and all these recipes come up, which is really helpful. Once you've found a recipe you're wanting to work with, you can press the 3 dots down the bottom, and this is how you organize your recipes. So cook today or bookmark, add it to a collection. These are folders that you can have on your Thermomix. Or you can add it to your weekly planner and choose which day you want to cook it, and then add it to your shopping list. So then when I come to my week, I haven't been too organized this week, but you know, it's there and your shopping list is here. I want to just show you something cool with the shopping list because not everyone realizes this. It puts all your ingredients, I've got 10 recipes in there. It puts all the ingredients from those 10 recipes into categories, so that, you know, when I'm in the dairy aisle, I can just get the dairy is there. And if you already have something at home, you tick it off before you go. As you put it in your trolley, tick it off so that by the end of your shop, your list is empty. But if you don't even want to be the one doing the shopping, you can press this order ingredients button. This takes you through to Woolworths Online and detects all the ingredients you want for your week and, you know, puts it in your Woolies online account. So, and if you don't like the brand they have chosen for you, just press the swap button. You can choose whatever brand works for you. And then once you're ready, you go down here and add to cart, and that takes you through. So you can do a free click and collect, or you can do a home delivery. So that's cookie dough in a very quick nutshell. There's actually a lot more to it. We have dedicated cookie dough tutorials. There is also a help section which has good tutorials, but also reach out to your consultant because they're always happy to help you learn how to use cookie dough as well. And then, have I taken too much time? No, we're good. When it comes time to looking at these recipes on your Thermomix, as you can see, it's the same. So what's on your website and app is also on your TM6 screen, and the search bar works the same. So you can just come in here. It is a little bit slow when I have Zoom on, so it's not going to act that fast, but you know, type in the word Easter, the recipes come up on your screen, and there's some really great options that you can cook. But if you've already been organized, you can come here into the menu and go to my recipes. Here's where you find your bookmarks, your folders, and anything saved. You've also got your created recipes. These are ones that I have entered in myself. So that's my daughter with our favorite spaghetti recipe. And your weekly planner is in here. So anything you've planned for the week will be there. So that's Cookie Dough in a very quick nutshell. There is a difference between Cookie Dough 2.0 and Cookie Dough 3.0 for those who aren't sure. Maybe stay back at the end, we can go through that. If you're on Cookie Dough 2.0, you've got the same functionality that you've always had, and that will carry on. If you're wanting to upgrade to Cookie Dough 3.0, the price of that goes up a little bit. It becomes $69 a year, but you can add in your own recipes for guided cooking. And also there's new functionality coming soon. One of them is called recipe scaling, where you can change the recipes based on the serving sizes that you're wanting. So I think that's a pretty cool feature coming up as well for Cookie Dough 3.0. Okay, so I'm going to, where are we at now? Not ready yet. 2 more minutes. Oh, great. So I can let you know now of some promotions we have happening. I'm feeling the angle is a bit funny there. Trying to fit in my beautiful Easter headband. I couldn't find my bunny ears that I wanted to wear tonight, so I fashioned some flowers and eggs, but my chickie already fell off. So at the moment, we have this beautiful black Thermomix available. This is a very limited edition for those who aren't aware. We think it's only going to be around for a few more days. It is very limited edition, and it's while stocks last. So they're running out the door. But so this is available at the moment for $2,429, and it is coming with 2 black thermoservers, which I don't have to show you. I can only show you the silver ones, but these are the 2 sizes that you'd be getting, the round 2.6 and the oval 2.5 thermoservers. Our thermoservers keep food hot for a few hours. They are double insulated stainless steel, so you can make ahead and keep it warm. Take a meal to a picnic or to a friend's house, you know, take ice to a picnic. There's actually a lot of uses for our thermoservers. They are awesome tools to have. If you don't have one, definitely try and get your hands on one. If you're new to Thermomix, you can get them free at the moment when you order your black Thermomix. If there's also a promotion for the white one as well. Oh, Nicole, you're impatiently waiting. They started being dispatched yesterday, if you're talking about the black one. If you've already got a Thermomix and you're not wanting to buy another one, you can also get your hands on a thermoserver by hosting a cooking experience. And to do that, you only need to help share the Thermomix with 2 friends by having your consultant in your home for a in-person tasting and, you know, having fun and eating. Or we can do it online over Zoom, so you can talk to your consultant about that as well. Anyone who is wanting to order the white Thermomix at the moment, you will also get a free Thermomix, a thermoserver, the 2.6 litre silver one. So this. So that's a really great promotion at the moment, because normally the only way to get them is to host. So at the moment, whether you order the white or the black, you're going to be hooked up with a thermoserver, which is awesome. So I'm not getting a thumbs up yet. So I'm going to go through. Oh, yeah, we are doing a thumbs up. Sorry. Sometimes I just talk too much. Over to Nat.
Sorry, I was just listening. Okay, so the fish appears to be cooked. I've just grabbed out my oval server because the fish is so big. I don't think that's going to fit in my round. So I haven't had time to warm it up, but that's okay. So transfer into thermoserver bowl to keep it warm. So my fish is cooked. Smells good. And my veggies are cooked. Okay. So I'm just going to pop the veggies and the fish into the bowl. It's hot. Very hot. Okay, so that's all there. I'll just pop that aside. Pop that aside there. I have a really small kitchen. Need a bigger house. All right, and so I've just got to quickly rinse out the mixing bowl, but I should be able to cheat. Give me 1 second. Oh. No, I can't cheat. I don't know. Oh, you know what happened? Michael put the wrong jug in the wrong. Look at that. It's one I just prepared earlier. Okay. So joys of having that second bowl. So we're going to put in garlic, shallots, and chili. Garlic, shallots, chili, and some coriander. I like coriander, so I'm not really going to measure how much. And then we're going to put the lid on. Okay, 3 seconds, speed 6. On the sides. Just show you how good that chops up. 3 seconds. Still can't get over after all these years of having the Thermomix how quickly it chops up stuff. Amazing. 40 grams of tamarind paste. So if you don't know, Woolworths Asian section, you'll get that. We'll be close enough. And this lovely smelling fish sauce. Don't smell it, it's disgusting. 30 grams of that. And palm sugar. I usually get like these, they come like in tablets, and today I bought a new packet and it was like these big balls, so I've just had to crush it all up today. So 45 grams of palm sugar. And some corn flour. Oops. No one heard that. I'll be in trouble. And then water. I wasn't prepared for the water. 150 grams of water. Okay. Measuring lead 4 minutes. It's going to cook that for. So Laura, if you want to talk for 4 minutes, go for it.
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to go through very quickly for those who don't yet have a Thermomix, or if you have a friend who you're wanting to share the Thermomix with, to let you know we have some really great payment options available. So the best one, the number one option we have to share with you is that you can earn a Thermomix. And that's why we're coming on as a consultant with us, like us here. And the role of that is to demonstrate how great the Thermomix is with the community. And once people decide to invest, it's helping show them how to use it. And obviously there's full training and support, and it's awesome. What I love about it is the flexibility and the fun. It just feels like it's a part of my life instead of it being work. And you know, I can be a stay-at-home mom with my kids, but I'm still earning a good income as I go out for a few hours here and there. So yeah, you can become a consultant. If you've already got a Thermomix, you can still come on as a consultant and earn cash. But if you don't, if you're wanting to earn a Thermomix, you can come on to earn it. So that's an option you have. We also have some payment plans. One of them is Zip Money, which is 24 months interest free. Works out at less than $25 a week, super affordable, very easy. You wouldn't miss that money out of your bank account when you have Thermi on your bench. We also have Afterpay. We have an Easy 3 option where you can spread out the payments over 3 months, or if you're wanting to do a single payment, it's PayPal, credit card, or a bank transfer. So very flexible around payment options with the Thermomix. And the other thing I wanted to share, I know there's a lot to share with promotions, and I already talked about the servers, but you've seen a few of us tonight using 2 bowls just to make cooking really convenient. So at the moment, well, soon, starting on the Thursday. So you've got, my other bowl is elsewhere, but you'll be able to get a whole second bowl set if you're wanting to host a cooking experience. So aside from our normal host reward options, which we talked about, which is the thermo server, the other options are thermomat set as well. But yes, starting Thursday for about 5 or 6 weeks, because I can't remember when it ends, but it ends early May. I'll look it up for you, is to be able to get a whole second bowl set, normally valued at $375. It doesn't matter which model of Thermomix you have. If you host a cooking experience, you'll be able to save on getting a second bowl set. So normally it's, yeah, $375, as I said. I'm going to look up the prices so I don't tell you the wrong thing, but it becomes $275 just for hosting. But then if someone purchases a Thermomix from your event, that reduces down to $110. So quite a saving to be able to do that for just for hosting and having a few friends over, whether it's virtually or in person, to be able to help share how cool the Thermomix is with people, have some fun. Yeah, it's really great. But having 2 bowls just to be able to switch them out in between recipes, and also to not only in between 2 different recipes, but in the middle of recipes sometimes, as you've seen tonight. And even recipes where you don't need to do that. Sometimes I get caught making a curry and I don't have any almond meal, so I'll get my other bowl and I'll mill up some almonds. Or I've got to the end of my risotto and I realized I don't have any grated Parmesan cheese, so I get out my clean dry bowl to grate some Parmesan cheese to go in the risotto, or just things like that where it's really handy to have 2 bowls. And I can see my other bowl at the moment is upside down draining in my sink because we switch them out regularly. So yeah, it's much coveted. They've been out of stock for a really long time, so it's great that the bowl sets are back, but only for hosts at the moment. So talk to your consultant if you're wanting to host a cooking experience. And so I can't tell if Nat's ready or not. She's not there. Oh yeah, she is ready. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, it just went off. So we are now going to drain any excess liquid from the fish and vegetables, and then we're going to cover it with the sauce that I've just made. There is no excess liquid that I can see. And that's our sauce. You can see that? It smells so good. Okay. Okay. So I've got to pour this over the fish and the veggies. That's, I don't know if you can see that. There you go. That's the sauce. And then we're just going to serve it up. Give me 1 second. Can't find my rice spoon. Third world problem right now. All good. Michael's waiting for his dinner, so I'll serve it up then. Okay. And then, let's see, he heard that it's running and he's venturing out now. All right. It's so lovely. I hope nobody heard that. Pop some veggies on the side. Try and make this look like a really nice presentable dish, because if anyone knows me, presenting and display is not my forte. Okay, and I even have some leftover coriander for garnish. There we go. And turn it like this. Okay, so that is, oops, that's my fish, my tamarind, my sweet tamarind fish with mixed vegetables. All done. Finished.
Great, Nat. Looks beautiful.
Hey, I'm done.
Thank you. So we're
That's
going
all
to hand, yeah, thank you. So we're going to hand over to Sarah, and Sarah's going to be making 2 beautiful Easter treats for us. So here you go.
Thank you. That looks amazing, Nat. Like Carrie, I don't eat much fish either, and I think I would eat that. It looks really good. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 dishes. I'm going to do a sweet and a savory. I'm going to do a salad, a real quick 5-second salad. There's different variations of these salads on Cookie-Doo, but I'm going to do the traffic light salad. But I'm also going to do some hot chocolate on a stick. This is a really good one if you've got leftover Easter eggs after Easter, to melt it up and use it. Or you can make them as presents to gift to people as well, leading up to Easter. So I've got them in my Cookie-Doo in my week already. So I've got them up on my machine. I'm sorry, it's a little bit glary. The light's pretty bad in here at night. So I'm just going to click start cooking. So it's asking me for 600 grams of dark chocolate broken into pieces. I'm just using melts today. And I had a few leftover white chocolate melts, so I'm going to use them as well. Just going a little bit over, 620. And now 200 grams of milk. Same again, I'm just using the milk. Now it's asking for 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 30 grams of cocoa powder. I'm just going to add all that in together. Now we're going to put on our lid. So what it's going to do now is it's going to grate all this chocolate for 10 seconds at speed 10. I'll show you. So you'll see now that it's actually a fine powder. So just in 10 seconds, we go from those big chunks of chocolate to like a fine powder. It says scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl spatula. It doesn't need much scraping, but I will just loosen it up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to put on our lid again. And now it's just going to heat this up. So for 4 minutes at 60 degrees on speed 1. And I'm just going to leave this going. If you're wondering what this was just then, this is the red spatula, which is available in the mix shop. We have lots of different varieties of spatulas. This is actually one, a Thermomix one as well. I found this one's really good because it's so bendy. When you dealing with the melted chocolate, it works really well. Okay, I'm going to move over to my other machine. Just to do the salad. Okay. So as I said before, this one's called the 5-second chocolate light salad. I think it's actually in the UK cookie dough. There's one in the UK and there's one in the US. If you're not sure how to access that on your cookie dough, if you go into your filters, take off Australia and it will allow you to search the whole of the world. I then reselect English, so it just brings up the English recipes. So this is one of the recipes that are in there. It's much like the beetroot salad or the broccoli salad, which is on the Australian cookie dough. But I quite like this one because it's nice and colourful. It lasts for quite a few days as well in the fridge. Okay, so I'm just going to click start cooking. You can see here it's so many nice bright colours. So we're going to add 200 grams of carrot. I'm just going to tear my scales. So 200 grams is roughly 2 carrots. I'll just put up 2 carrots. So 204 grams, that's pretty good. 200 grams of red peppers cut into 3 centimetre pieces. So again, this was just 1 large red capsicum, 1 red pepper from our own. 200 grams of broccoli, so I'm just using 1 small broccoli. So these ones that we're keeping the stem in, I've not put the stem out. And 150 grams of apples quartered. So I'm just using 2 Pink Lady apples. Okay. So now we're going to add our bits for our kind of sauce or dressing. You can use whatever seeds you like. The recipe asks for sunflower seeds. If you want to add some chopped nuts, you can add those in as well. It's just 30 grams. 25 grams of olive oil. As with all liquids, when you're pouring them, you just want to go slowly when you're getting up towards the weight that you need. So obviously, as you're pouring, it's still going. 20 grams of lemon juice. Teaspoon of honey. Got it. 1.5 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. And 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt. Quarter teaspoon of ground pepper. That's my chocolate done. I'm just going to put a little bit in. We're not massive fans of pepper. Okay, so now we're going to insert measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. Pop it down. And it's now going to chop for 5 seconds at 4.5. Okay. So with this recipe, it's up to you how chopped you want it to be. I'll show you where we are. There's still a few bits of carrot that are a little bit big, so I might just pop it back on. And you can go back a step with any recipe. If you feel like it needs a little bit longer, you just click the back button, and you can just do that step again. I'm just going to turn it down to maybe 3 seconds, 4.5. Have a look at it now. It's much better. Here we have our 5-second salad. So, you know, you saw how quick that was. This is brilliant for entertaining, or if you need that last minute dish to take to somebody's house. I'll just scrape it out so you can see. Smells so good, this one. See, it's made a massive bowl too. There we have it. This is our 5-second chocolate light salad. Okay. We're going to go back to the chocolate. Over here. All right, so we're going to click next. So scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spatula. This is mostly melted. There is a little bit on the side that didn't catch. I'm going to do it again for 1 minute, so it'll just finish off those bits of chocolate that were stuck on the sides. Okay. So there's several different ways that we can package this up. Today I'm going to do mine in the silicone molds, which are in the mix shop as well. This is actually used for your aroma for certain dishes and sweet treats. I'm going to melt my chocolate in these. I find that they're really easy to push them out once they're cold in the fridge. And I'm going to top mine with some marshmallows. Find them, grab them. So just get the little baby marshmallows which are in the baking aisle. These are really good because once it melts, we're going to put in our straw as well. Once the chocolate melts in the hot milk, the marshmallows float around on the top of the hot chocolate. You can put in some hundreds and thousands or some other, anything else really you'd like in your chocolate. That's done. Okay, so it says fill mold of choice with the mixture. So you see now we've got beautifully melted chocolate there. My kids were telling me tonight that there's a new TikTok trend which you can use this for and put them into bowls with lollies in. So it says, can we do that? So maybe we could use it for that too. So I'm just going to put maybe halfway. I don't want my hot chocolates to be too rich. See, it's really thick, so it's literally just chocolate. It's a bit messy. Just got 2 more.
This way of melting chocolate is also really good for any like molds you're trying to do. So if you've got some Easter themed molds you're wanting to make little chocolates for, just that way of grating the chocolate and then melting it down at a low temperature so it doesn't seize is really great.
Okay, a little bit messy. I'll just smooth them out a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to pop on some marshmallows. So obviously once this has gone in the fridge, these are going to cool so that they're solid again. I didn't mean to make some today, I just run out of time to show you the finished product. What I usually do is just put them in the clear foil. You can get the little bags from Reject Shop, like $1. And just wrap them around and put a little tag on to say mix with warm milk, with your favorite warm milk or water, whatever you like your hot chocolate with. I'm just going to place some straws in, and then this is just going to go upright in the fridge just for an hour, and that's how we set. So you just pull it out, it's like a lollipop on a stick, you add it to your warm milk and you just stir it and you've got the perfect hot chocolate.
That is so cool. Thank you, Sarah. And a beautiful gift if you're wanting to make something for people, you know, as an Easter gift. I know teachers or friends or just whoever. So thank you for showing us that. I'm sure everyone can use their imagination, but in the recipe on Cookie Dough, it shows the end result wrapped in, you know, cellophane or something, and they look very cool. It's like exactly what Sarah's made. So awesome. So we are going back to Nat for another tip on what you can do with some leftover Easter eggs, just really quickly, and then I'm going to show you how to make hot cross buns.
Hi. Okay, so I'm making hot chocolate too because we love hot chocolate, and this buddy's been taunting me all day. So I'll just go back to my week. I've got it saved in Cookie Dough. It's seriously just 2 ingredients. So if you ever do have leftover Easter eggs at home, here's what to do with them so they don't sit in the fridge and you don't have to eat them when the kids go to bed. So we're just gonna kill the bunny right now because it's been teasing me all day because I wasn't allowed to eat it. Okay, we're gonna go start cooking. 500 grams of milk.
This is also a good one to make after you've been tempering chocolate. So you've already got some chocolate in the bowl. Like, what are you going to do? Add some milk and make hot chocolate. Probably what Sarah's about to do.
I was just about to say that. All this chocolate, I'm going to put some milk in the kettle mode and just heat the milk up.
Your kids are going to be very happy.
100 to 150 grams of leftover chocolate, or even if you just want to make hot chocolate and it's not Easter, just grab a block of chocolate and make it. Yeah. And of course I put in extra because we all know I love my chocolate. And we're just going to put the lid on. And then 6 minutes, 80 degrees, speed 1. I'll see you in 6 minutes.
Cool, thank you. So we're actually I'm going to show you now how to make hot cross buns via pre-record, because I wanted to cut out all the middle steps because it is a long process. So I am going to do a screen share and show you this video. So bear with that. I do have some tips. I've been making hot cross buns for a few years now, so hopefully this is really helpful for you. Okay, I'm going to show you now how to make hot cross buns. My favorite recipe is the one on the UK Cookie Dough site. The one on the Aussie site is actually really good too, but just for some reason we did a hot cross bun bake off one day and we did 3 different recipes, and this was the one we all liked best. So they are all pretty similar, but and there's gluten-free recipes you can try, and there's brioche hot cross buns. There's anyway, just type in hot cross buns into Cookie Dough and you'll see all the different options. They're all really good. So to make the dough, we're just going to whack all the ingredients in. First we add some butter, and the scales come up when you need it to, but I have pre-weighed that butter. Perfect. And we're going to add some milk, which I haven't pre-weighed, so I need to watch the scales. And we want 300 mils of milk. As it nears there, as I get to about 250, I kind of slow down because I want to make sure I don't go over. And if you do go a little bit over, it doesn't actually matter too much. But because we are baking, you do want to stick to the recipe fairly well. If you're cooking a dinner type thing, it's not going to be the end of the world. But we're going to heat up that butter and the milk for 2 minutes at 40 degrees. So I just wanted to show you as well, now that we're heating up that milk and that butter, I wanted to show you something that I like to do when I'm cooking is I come here and press these 3 dots and I press recipe detail, and now I can look ahead and get out my next ingredient. So I've got 2 minutes to go out and get my flour, sugar, yeast, my spices, salt, egg, and whatever mixed fruit I'm going to be using. So this 2 minutes time can be productive in the kitchen. You can multitask. When you're ready to get back to the recipe, just press continue and you're back. So I'll get all those ingredients out. So now we're ready to add our next ingredients. The milk and the butter has heated up. So now it's asking us to add baker's flour. So the difference between baker's flour and plain flour is that it has more protein, more gluten. It's still made from wheat grain, but it's been grown at a different altitude or something like that. But yeah, if you only have plain flour, you can still give this recipe a go and other bread recipes. But if you have a chance to get baker's flour, you will notice a much better result in just a nice, softer, lighter bread. So if you're going to be doing a lot of baking, I recommend getting the baker's flour. You can get it in 5 kilo bags at the supermarket or Costco or fruit shops, Indian shops, like just wherever you can get big bags of it. So that's why I've got a big tub of baker's flour, and we're going to add some sugar. I'm just using raw sugar. You can use whatever. And the scales just make it so easy when adding ingredient. Just grab your tub right out of the pantry and pour it in. 2 teaspoons of yeast. Now, one tip is to keep your yeast in the freezer because it doesn't freeze like frozen. It's still very, able to be sprinkled, but it just keeps it active and makes sure that it will help your bread actually rise. If you have yeast that expires or goes bad, it's not going to help your bread rise. Yep, so now we're adding our spices. Cinnamon first, and I just use Ceylon cinnamon. Use whatever you've got. There's a difference between cassia and Ceylon, but yeah, if you care to know, you can Google that, but otherwise just whatever cinnamon you've got is good. And mixed spice, which I make myself in the Thermomix. You can look up the recipe on Cookie Doo for mixed spice. I'll add it in the email that I sent from this class as well. And then I believe we want half a teaspoon of, get the right spoon, of the nutmeg. And some recipes have a bit of clove in it as well. This recipe doesn't, but if you like cloves, just add a pinch of that in as well, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. All the recipes are to your taste. So if you don't like a spice, don't add it in. And if you do, add it in. A teaspoon of salt. Don't be shy in the salt. It does help the flavor of the bread. It brings out flavors. I know if you've got a grinder, some people think they're putting in a whole teaspoon, but it is quite a decent amount of salt. And I just use, you can see I've milled my own. So it's kind of, I mill my own cooking salt out of rock salt, just so that I know that there's no additives in my cooking salt, and it's really fine, which is good to disperse through the whole recipe. And an egg going in. A lot of sweet doughs have an egg in it. Different, it's usually in brioche and things like that, but any soft sweet bun, you want to have that egg. And I think that's everything. So we're going to mix these ingredients for 20 seconds on speed 4, and it'll just mix around. That's done. And now it is telling us to keep the measure cup in place because now we're going to be kneading the dough. So the recipe already brings up dough mode. You can see here the picture of the wheat, and all I need to do is turn the dial, the arms lock again, and we're kneading. So that will knead for 3 minutes. Just show you what it looks like when it's kneading. Yeah, just a really good strong push. And 3 minutes of kneading is good for a soft dough. Normal breads, we do 2 minutes. Pizza can even be 1.5 minutes, but the recipe will always tell you, you don't need to remember that. But it's, the equivalent of half an hour of hand punching. So it's really good to let the machine do it for you, and the result is always really good. Okay, that is done. So the next step is to add, it says raisins and sultanas. My family really prefer cranberries. So that's what I'm adding instead. But yeah, by all means, use whatever dried fruit you are interested in using. I'm also going to skip the mixed peel. I love the mixed peel, but I'm the only one. So I won't add it in. Okay, so 140 grams of cranberries, and then I'll skip the peel. So now this is going to knead again. And one thing I'll point out is that while you're kneading in your Thermomix, you should stay close by because as you can see, it jumps around a little bit. And it's usually very sturdy and it's going to stay right there. But if you've got a really heavy dough, what could happen is it can move on the bench and, come towards the edge. So I would like, if I was going to be not standing right here, if I was going to be a few meters away, I'd move it to the center of the bench a bit more so that I can move a bit. But really keep your eye on it, stay in the vicinity. Any other cooking in your Thermomix, you can leave the house if you want, but kneading dough, or obviously blending something at a high speed, you want to stay close by. Yeah. Okay, so that's finished kneading, and now we're just going to, you can put this in a bowl an oiled bowl for it to rise with a tea towel over the top. I'm going to be using the Thermomat. To get the dough out, I'm just tipping, like spinning the blades, and it all just, most of it comes out. If there's a bit more, you can just get your hands in it. We're going to use our hands anyway. Obviously you wash your hands, and then you're going to be baking the bread, so it's all hygienic. Just get out any of those other bits, being careful around the blades, obviously, because they're very sharp, Sullinger steel blades. And so what you can see here is our beautifully kneaded dough that's been kneading for a total of 4 minutes with those cranberries. So you just want to shape it into a ball. However much, I'm just kind of looking through to make sure the cranberries are really incorporated, and they very much are, so that's great. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in the center of my Thermomat. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, and just like wrap it however, and that's ready to put into a warm spot. We want to let it rise for, I usually do it for an hour, but let's see what the recipe says. Oh, it says 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, I forgot. It's been a little while since I've done hot cross buns. You really want it to double in size, and because it's such a big, and we want it to be really nice and soft. You could put it in the varoma with some water in your bowl, with the varoma on ferment mode. You've got ferment mode down the bottom of your modes if you've got a TM6, and that really helps rise dough. You could put it, have the dishwasher on and have it on the bench on top of the dishwasher. You could fill your thermo server with hot water and have it sitting on top. Some people put it in the oven or in the microwave, just somewhere incubated where it can stay really warm for a few hours. On a nice sunny day by a window is good. So we'll see how we go today, and then after a few hours I'll come show you what we've got. Okay, it's been a few hours now, and I'm just unwrapping. It did explode a little bit out of the mat, so I had this section here, which is all good. So all I need to do now is divide into the 16 balls. I'm actually going to do 15 because in my tray I've got a rectangular tray where I do 5 times 3, whereas if you had a square tray it would be 4 by 4, I guess, which is why the recipe says 16. I'm just going to make sure I get all that dough, which is everywhere on my mat. So now, if you were going to be doing choc chips instead of the fruit, now would be the time to add in the choc chips just by hand, because if you did it earlier, the choc chips would have melted in because the dough was very warm before rising and kneading and everything, so it was quite warm, and now you'd be mushing the chocolate around everywhere. So now if you're doing choc chips is the time. To divide the dough, that looks good. I usually just break it in half and half and half. You can just use your hands or your spatula. If you want them perfect, you could weigh this dough and divide it by the amount of rolls you're going to make, so each one is the exact same weight, and you'd weigh each one. I'm not bothering with that. That's not my style. So yeah, I'm just going to half and half. Okay, so, and then to roll them, I'm pretty rustic. I'll show you what I do anyway. Yeah, again. To get 15 balls. Oh, no, that one's a bit small. And then we are going to rise this again on the tray for another hour before we bake them. So lots of rising time in this dough, which is why it ends up being such a beautiful soft bun in the end. Yeah, so I've got our balls. To roll them, I mean, you can just literally roll them in between your hands, place it on the mat, and you're done. If you want to make it a perfect top, there is a mushroom technique some people do where you stretch with your thumbs and then gather it underneath. So underneath it's looking very pinched, but on top it's a perfect bun. Whatever technique you do, I'm just going to roll them fairly roughly. And then on your tray, you can place them apart from each other. If you do them very apart, they're going to end up like dinner rolls that are separate. I like to have them kind of close to each other so that they pull apart at the end. So you'll see that after I've baked them. But yeah, I'll keep going with that and pause the recording. The last thing I do is just push them down. That's not in the recipe, it's just my own thing because I like them to end up touching each other, and then they puff back up again as they rise. So that's it. These are set to rise for another hour, just like that. And they're looking very low round, more like scones probably at the moment. But once they rise again and then they rise again in the oven, they'll puff up like buns. So now these have almost been rising for an hour, so it's time to put the oven on, which I've done, to 210. Very gently take the plastic off that you were covering the buns with, and they're looking very nice, as you can see there. So the next step is to place a bowl on top of the lid because we're going to make the piping. So we want 40 grams of baker's flour. I've just got some in a smaller tub that I take to my Thermomix. This one you can do in the Thermomix, but it's so easy to just mix by hand. I've done it both ways. I'm following the recipe today, but sometimes I just let the Thermomix do it. But honestly, it's just a quick mix by hand, so that it's easy. So, and some sugar going in. And the last thing is some water. I want 40 grams of water. And every time you press next, that scale just goes back down to 0, making it really easy to weigh in your ingredients. Now, if you set a piping bag up in a glass, it's nice and easy to pour into. So that's what I've done there. And I just use the Thermomix piping bag. They sell this one that comes with so many nozzles. It's really good. Or they sell disposable ones that you can just use once and throw away. So with those ones, you snip the corner and you can still put in the nozzle of choice if you've already got nozzles. That's easy for really messy things, or if you're needing to have multiple piping bags at once. This set comes with a 2, so if you need 2, but if you need any more, the disposable ones are really handy. Okay, so you're just mixing into a paste, which I think I've got pretty well. There's a few lumps, but that doesn't matter too much. Okay, so pouring in my piping bag. And I'm just going to do lines across the top. And I know you don't always have to draw crosses on your hot cross buns. You could do, if you've got little kids, sometimes it's fun to do initials of their names or draw little stars or flowers or whatever's fun for them. I will do crosses today. Oh, it's starting to come out. So, as I said, I just draw lines. So it's, I don't know if you can see, but a matter of 3 long lines across. It's such a small amount of paste in the piping bags. It's different to doing normal icing. And obviously, if you don't need them to look good, you don't have to put the crosses on. It's, you know, it's the traditional thing to have hot cross buns. But if you just want the taste, if you just want them to taste good, you can skip this step. I think they look pretty nice with the crosses. Okay, almost done. I know this isn't very interesting to watch, but I want to make sure I show novices how to do the whole process. Hopefully it's been easy today. If anyone has any questions about it, I'm very happy for you to contact me. I'll be sending out an email, so you'll have my details, my phone number and email. Okay, so with any leftover piping that you have, you can go back and, I don't know, do a better job of any of the edges, but I'm pretty happy with what we've got. If you've made any thin parts, you could go over it, but yeah, I'm happy with my crosses there. So now these just need to go in an oven, and oh, I better follow the recipe. I think it's 15 minutes. 20 minutes, 210 degrees. So I'll put them in the oven and show you what we have at the end, and then we're going to put a glaze on the top. So while they're in the oven, I'm going to make the glaze. This glaze is sugar, brown sugar, marmalade and milk. There is a simpler glaze you can do if you just want to do a basic sugar glaze, which is equal parts sugar to water. So 2 tablespoons each, and then you cook it at 100 degrees on speed 2 for a minute. And then you've got a basic sugar glaze you can use. This one's a little bit fancier. We're going to follow the recipe, so you can see the different result of that. And I think this sugar glaze, doing a sugar glaze, whichever one you do, really, you know, makes it a bit better than the ones you can buy in the store. The whole product is way better than the ones you buy in the store. There's actually no comparing, but the glaze really just sends it over the edge. So yep, some brown sugar and now some milk. Oop, went a little bit over on the milk. It's okay. And a tablespoon of marmalade. It's decent. Oop, tablespoon, whatever. And then that just cooks for a minute and it's ready. So here we have our buns now fresh out of the oven, looking beautiful, and the glaze is ready to go on. So that you just put it on with a brush. So one thing I was going to say was, if you wanted to have these on Easter Sunday morning without having to get up before dawn to do this whole process, you can have them done the first step, and then even the second step. Once you've formed them into balls, you know how we set that aside to rise for another hour just on the bench before we put the crosses on. Once they're formed, instead of leaving them on the bench for an hour, you could just cover them loosely and put them in the fridge to do that final rise in the fridge overnight. And then in the morning, turn on your oven, bring them out of the fridge so they're sitting on the bench while the oven preheats, and that's when you can put on the crosses and get it in the oven for 20 minutes. So Easter Sunday morning before breakfast, you really only need 20 minutes plus however long it takes for your oven to preheat. So maybe 40 minutes, and then breakfast will be ready because you've done the work the night before. And that morning, there's no work to be done. You're just putting it in the oven and waiting. So yeah, that's what I do. Easter Saturday afternoon, I get them ready, and then we bake them Easter Sunday morning. It's the same kind of thing I do if we want cinnamon rolls for breakfast for Father's Day, or whatever it is, where you can get the dough ready ahead of time and just have it in the fridge so that in the morning all you have to do is bake it. I have put a lot of glaze on. This made more glaze than what we needed, so I'm just being extra generous. But these buns are done and they smell amazing. They are just amazing to eat fresh out of the oven. I'm going to break one open to show you the inside. They're a little bit too hot to touch at the moment, but I'll just do it anyway and hopefully don't burn my fingers. But yeah, it looks amazing. I've still got a little bit of glaze, the tiniest amount. You don't have to use it all, but okay, let's see if I'm going to burn my fingers if I do this. So see how they're all just formed together? That's how I like my buns, but I'm going to use my spatula to help me. But if you let it cool a bit, you can just grab your hand and just pull it open. Oh yeah, it looks so good. Oh yeah, I can't really touch it, it's too hot, but I want to show you the inside that I've just pulled apart from the other bun. Oh, that's the corner edge. Yeah, there you go. Super soft, very light, soft, airy on the inside, crispy on the outside with that glaze on top that's nice and sticky now. Beautiful, fresh to eat, ready to go. So enjoy. Well, I hope that was helpful for you to learn how to make hot cross buns. And so now we're going to go back to Nat for the end. Oh, actually, I can just show you. They're cool enough now, but you can see some are gone because the kids came home from school and had them for afternoon tea. So yeah, hot cross buns. And then the next day, we actually just heat them back up again in the microwave so that they're back to being hot if it's the day later, but they're good to eat fresh. So we're going back to Nat to just see the end of the hot chocolate, which would have been done so long ago, but that's okay.
It was. I've reheated it. Okay, so it's done. So then you can see that, and I found this pretty cool Happy Easter mug today. If you want to froth it up, you can froth it up.
Yeah, I usually froth mine up on speed 8 for 30 seconds.
I just thought about it as I was pouring it. So
oh no, it's totally optional. Yeah.
I usually would froth it up, but I don't know. So anyway, that's oh gosh. I'm not very good with this whole video thing. And I do have some marshmallows that I've been trying so hard not to snack on, but I was going to get the mini ones, but I didn't because I like these. So I'm just going to pop them in. 2, I think, is nice. And yeah, that's done.
Looks good. It's a nice treat for you for tonight. Yeah, thank you. And so thank you everyone who has joined us this evening. That's the end of the recipes we wanted to show you. When I send you the recipes tomorrow via email, I'll also send you a recording of the Easter class we did last year, because we did totally different recipes. We made some tempered chocolate treats and a smoked salmon dip, and I can't remember what else. And we also have more Easter classes coming up. Each of the teams who are around Sydney are putting on an Easter class, so that there's different times available for all of our customers. So if you want more Easter tips, there's more available, which I'll put in the email as well. So thanks again for joining us tonight. If you are interested in taking advantage of any of the offers we have available at the moment, you can let me know and I can get it sorted for you, or just go direct to your consultant so that they can help you. But at the moment, if anyone has any questions, feel free. I'll end the recording and feel free to ask away. And thanks for those who have been commenting in the chat as well.